Hi, it's Kelly Quinn at 12 Rose Clover, here with a tutorial on how to blow out the sprinklers here at this address. And we'll get started with showing you where the compressor is. It's right here, and the valve, the switch is right here. My finger's on it, and I could just flip it up and it would come on, but then it would be too noisy for me to talk anymore. So I'm going to show you one other thing we need while we're here in the garage, and that is over here in this drawer. This drawer is where I keep the air tools I'll need, like for blowing up tires and checking tire gauges. And I also use this one quite a bit. That connects and just blows air. But if you unscrew the top, and it's just finger tight on there, it comes off real easy. Turns out this thread is exactly the thread that we need in the basement to connect to the valve so we can blow air into the pipes. All right, and so for now we're going to pause while I pull out the air hose and turn on the compressor, and we'll meet you in the basement.
It's all gonna fit.
All right, the compressor is all charged up, and we have the hose down here. We need just two tools, pair of pliers and a bucket to catch the water that comes out of the lines. Over here you can see this sign here, the sprinkler shut off, drain and blow out. So this is the shut off, and I'm just going to shut it off right now. Okay, the water is off. This little nib on the bottom here is what we need the pliers for, to undo this. And when we do that, water will come out of this pipe, and we don't want the water going everywhere. Even though there is a drain on the floor here, it's a lot neater and tidier if we just catch the water in the bucket. So let me hook this up, and then we'll be right back with you. Okay, now we're ready to undo this nib, and I could release the pressure that is in here. It's pressurized from this valve I just shut off all the way to the valves out in the yard, and I don't want all of that water coming in. I could release the pressure, but I do want to undo this thing just a little bit first, and I'll show you why in just a minute here. Okay. All right, looks like the pressure is relieved. Okay, now I'm going to take this off. And the water is slowly coming out. The reason why I wanted the pressure, there's a small little piece of plastic in the bottom of this that provides the seal. And if I take this off without the pressure, the plastic will stay stuck in there. And when the water comes out, then it goes down in the bucket and I have to fish it out. So this is a lot more efficient way of doing that. So I'm just going to set it right here for now. And this nibbed, threaded open valve is what I'm going to screw this onto. And then we'll hook up the hose and blow pressure in here. And the air pressure will go up that pipe and out and into the lawn and blow out the sprinklers. And I'll show you how we do that after this drains for a little bit.
Still draining.
All right, so it stopped dripping, but that doesn't mean that this pipe is actually empty. It just means there's not enough pressure for it to blow it out. And rather than having to force all of that water uphill with the air hose, what I'm going to do is hook up the air hose and put in just a small little blast of air to pressurize this pipe again, and then I'm going to disconnect the air hose, and we'll drain even more water into here. So I'll show you how we do that. We're going to start by screwing this valve on here. And we don't want to over tighten this, just snug. All right, now I need the air hose. And unfortunately, because this is already pressurized, it takes quite a bit of effort to get it to snap on. There we go. Okay, pressurized. And that's enough. Disconnect the hose, open up the valve, and see how much more water was sitting in that pipe that wasn't coming out. And this was running right through the valve. All of that extra water, I would have had to use the air hose to blow it all the way out into the yard. So if I can empty this pipe and get it drier before we start, then it's going to be a lot more efficient process. All right. Okay, now I think we're ready to actually blow out the sprinkler systems. So the valve is closed now because I'm not holding it. We'll put the air on. Now if I open up the valve, it only pressurizes as far as the valve and the lawn, and I want it to blow all the way to a sprinkler head. So I have to use the timer, and I'm going to turn the dial to cycle or zone number 1. Set this to manual. Over here you can see manual, and it says off on the display.
Yes.
I'm going to go 2 minutes. It really won't take that long. In 30 seconds it'll be done, but I'll set it for 2 minutes. Press start. So now it says it's watering. It's open to the valve all the way to the sprinkler heads. So now when I put air into this system, it goes out to the valve, through the valve, and all the way out to the sprinkler heads. So if we were in the front yard right now, we'd see the sprinkler heads pop up, and they'd be spraying just like they're watering the lawn, and eventually air would be coming out. And we could do that all the way until the air comes out, but we really need to do it just long enough to make sure the lines from the valve are clear. Because the part that's underground, that's out in the yard, you really don't have to worry too much about that. Okay. I'm going to disconnect this and see if any more will come out. So this is still from the pipes inside the house. But we did blow all the way out into the yard. So cycle number 1, zone 1, has been blown out. And now we're ready to move on to cycle number 2. Because it's watering on cycle 1, I'm just going to turn that back to off. Go to cycle number 2. We're still set on manual, so I'm going to go 2 minutes. Press start. It says watering. So the valve on number 2 is open. And now I'm going to pressurize the system again. And cycle number 2 is blowing out in the yard now. And I just have to hold it for maybe 15 seconds is probably sufficient for cycle 2. Partly because it's very close to where the valves are located in the yard. When we get to cycle 6, cycle 7, we'll have to hold it open quite a bit longer. Alright, that's probably good enough for cycle 2. Now we're still on manual. Back to 2 minutes. Start watering, and we'll open up the valve. Okay, cycle 3 is blowing out. When we get to the next cycle, maybe we'll take the camera out in the yard and you can see what happens out in the yard while I'm doing this. Okay, we're going to go for a few more seconds here.
There they are. Cycle 5. Cycle 6.
Okay, we're up to cycle 7, which is the last one, and you see 1 through 6 are sod, the drip is 7. So this one, we're going to set it for 2 minutes again, start watering, and this one takes a little bit longer because there are so many drip lines, and they go so far throughout the yard. But you can see I'm feathering the pressure in a little bit. And that's because a lot of the little buttons, I don't want to blow them off their line. So I'm starting at the pressure low and working my way up until they can actually take the air coming through without damaging the line. And this one I'll hold for quite a while until I can hear the air pressure dropping. And then I know that I've pretty much got the drip lines done too. And then that'll be the end of the blowing part. And then there's just a couple of wrap-up items. Alright, cycle 7 is done. I disconnected the air hose. Now I'm going to unscrew the valve I put on here temporarily. Alright. And now, this thing, I could just leave here until the springtime because it's not really needed until the springtime, but there's a good chance you'll lose it if you don't put it right back on. So I'm going to screw it back on and give it just a little torque with the pliers. And now if we turn this valve back on, sprinkler systems are back in working function. So there's only one step left to do, and that's with the timer. You set this to off rain. The same setting you would if it was raining on a particular day. This is just going to stay in this position all winter long.
Oh, it's between 1 and auto?
Yeah, see it says off rain.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay.
And in the springtime, I'll give you another video on how to program this timer because it's fairly complex and sometimes you do want to make some changes if the lawn's not getting watered where it needs to. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.